Welcome back to the channel, you guys. This is your girl, Wicked Raider, following up with a part 2 on champions you may want to take a second look at as a beginner. Now, we're going to go to two factions that I don't know. One of these I'm kind of excited about. It is our newest faction, of course, still expanding, and I'm talking about Sylvan Watchers. Now, guys, if you have been fortunate enough to pull a legendary champion or do a summons for one or what have you, because I know there has been a lot of talk about a couple of these champions. I would love to hear how things are going with that particular champion. As you can see, I have only pulled Ruella for my epic. I do have Enda on another account. Ornn, oh my gosh. I'm not sure if I've done a video on Ornn. I know I've talked about him before. I'm not sure I've done like a deep dive on this particular guy, but so much respect for this particular champion in particular. Just pulled this champion on a secondary account as well. So doing a little research, definitely have a few champions that are in the running, but there's a rare champion, and it is Tirlac. Shadow Bow Tirlac is a champion, guys, with only 51 reviews. If you were doing the previous fusion, which I know for my level of play, I am at my highest, like hitting level 60. And with the resources that I have currently, going after fusions is usually pretty difficult. And so I normally have made myself reserved to the fact, do you want the rare? Do you want the epic? Are you going to try for the fusion? But normally I fall in love with either the rare or the epic. And that's what I go after. I try to get a copy of, either champion that way. This is a champion. When I acquired him on this particular account, I knew that I just wanted the rare. I wanted to see what he was all about. And his kit, defense-based champion, not hard to keep alive at all. But when I tell you, Tirlac got some skills, y'all. If you did not keep, because if you did go for the fusion, of course, you had no extras, which I kind of hate that part. But the good thing is, at least you got a chance to run him as you built him up to level 40, of course, and then had to ascend him. But let's look at his kits in particular. Shadow Bow will attack one enemy. It has a 40% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack debuff for one turn. His damage is defense-based, and of course, the amount of damage done can be increased by 20%. You can also book out that buff debuff chance to increase by an additional 10%. So keeping in mind what this champion is able to do. So decreased attack is going to be first. We come in with Swift Warband, and this skill can be placed on a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. I'm in already. Places a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, what makes this kind of unique for me is, number one, for a rare champion, I get excited when I see increased speed. I also got excited when I noticed that this was a buff that would be placed on all allies. That is like the best part. There are so many rare champions, so many uncommon and common champions. Especially that fall into the support category, they will have really good shields or really good buffs, but they only apply them to themselves. And a selfish champion doesn't always do me any good. So Swift Warband is one of those. The AoE attack is nice. You can increase damage by an additional 20%. And then you're going to have that 15% chance of placing that increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. It would be lovely to be able to add in a book and maybe, bump that up an additional 10 or 15%. But overall, not bad. So we make it around to skill 3, places of veil, and we're looking at diversion. So places of veil buff on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. So he has Veil, he has Shield. This can be placed on a 4-turn cooldown. Shadowbolt Tirlac is one of those champions that sometimes I find it extremely hard to think of him just as a defense champion. Like he so falls into, what I consider the support category. That's amazing support. And I realize that support is usually reserved for my revivers or my healers, but wow, the amount of shilling for a rare champion. And if you place this guy in a pretty good set, you either give him the freedom of speed, which is always nice, or you make him tanky, but you make him efficient. So it's your choice. I have personally built him for speed on my first account. And I'm going to take him to 6-star just to see exactly what I'm able to get out of him. Wasn't the fastest, of course, so that's why my focus was there first. Crit rate was going to be another one. I wanted to increase and pay attention to what was most important. You know that he is defense based. And then you're coming through and you're thinking about what criteria have to be met in order for the veil buff to go forward. Not forgetting that he also has a passive. So camo cover decreases the damage received from skills by all allies under veil or perfect veil buffs by 5%. So not only am I covering all of my allies in general on a 4-turn cooldown, I also have a passive that's going to add that additional perk. This guy, oh, so amazing. The aesthetic is really plain. Now, one thing I do wish, you know, I get it. He's a regular soldier, probably, but y'all could have gave my boy more. Okay, you could have. I mean, he's swinging from the trees. He could have been cute in like some linen. Like, give me some Lord of the Rings, like the whole thing. I wasn't feeling the wearing of the leaves, but this is one of those guys. If you pull this guy as a rare, he's just been sitting over to the side. I highly recommend you build him out. I have 5-star the champion so far. It has not been hard. Would I book him honestly as a rare champion? I would book him because once you get him to 4-star and you start running him and seeing how his synergy works with other like specific other champions, I promise you, little baby can smack. And if you want to run a easy to control team, if you put Turlac on the same team as Saurus, if you have a Deliana and like a Rhonda, it is the most imbalanced looking team, or maybe a Diabolist in there, but they're easily acquired champions. Oh my gosh. Guys, the amount of damage and the way they move through objectives is amazing. So if you have this guy, I still run him honestly in a couple of little areas. I am still progressing him right now. So I'm running him with other champions that will serve as food, but I want to level him up. I have locked this champion in as a rare. He is amazing. He's pretty awesome as a rare. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about him. They just mentioned him, so quickly, but I get it because you would have had to pull him, through shards otherwise in order to hold on to a copy. Well, we're going to back out of Sylvan Watchers. I think this is one faction that, really will grow. I would love to know what you guys think about Sylvan Watchers. What champions have you pulled from that particular faction, and which ones are really, really, really proven themselves to be worth it? So, second champion, under Dark Elves. I want to come to the bottom of this one. This is a champion in particular. All of us have pulled. We have pulled this champion. We probably have dupes of this champion somewhere, but I don't think we often look at my girl close enough. And that champion would be Spirit Host. I have seen a couple of creators talk about this champion in particular before. I have made a video and she's made the little top 20 list. Well, not even top 20, top 10-ish list for different reasons. I've seen her in a couple of people's top lists, but her reviews are solid. Very much so. I don't take a lot of my rare champions to, different dungeons. There are certain areas where when I am ranking them in my mind, those are not the areas I'm thinking of. I'm thinking more of faction wars, efficiency, campaign, um, maybe how they perform in arena. I'm thinking about all the other areas beyond just that. But rare support champion, again, coming to support champions. There are quite a few guys. And remember, sometimes you need to build by faction and you need rares in order to run Doom Tower. You've got to pick them. You need to build them out. These are rares that are often worth booking because remember, you're going to come through quite a few rare booklets. But don't book right away. I want you to really, really do the work. If you decide this is the rare of my choice, I'm going to add them to this Doom Tower team, add masteries to them. If you master that champion out, then you're going to feel like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and apply books as well, because now you're investing a large amount of your time. Spirit Host is one of those that comes in handy because there are often not a lot of rare champions that can support a team in particular areas of Doom Tower. And I am currently in the business of learning that because every secret room in Doom Tower is going to have a different requirement. So when it comes to Spirit Host, she has reap level, attacks one enemy, heals by 50% of the damage inflicted. This damage is going to be based on her attack, of course, and then you can increase the amount of damage done by additional 25%. Now notice she's going to attack one enemy. So she's going to reap what she has sown and heals by 50% of the damage inflicted. The better I build her out to make that first attack worth it, the more likely I am. Now, the thing is, if she's going first, she likely is at 100% power anyway. Unless your team has been beat speed wise. This is one of those, it's there, but it's not. So strengthen places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Increased attack is helpful. This, of course, only requires 1 book, goes straight to the cooldown, so a 3-turn cooldown. Having this one is not bad at all. 50% for a rare champion, I'll take pretty much without complaints. Another one doesn't require a lot of books. So notice, guys, 4 on the first one, 5, and then 6 in fully booked. Removes all debuffs with Dark Gift on all allies. That alone is a big one. Places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn. This can be again placed on a 5-turn cooldown. Rare champion. We're talking again, 6 books with an aura that increases ally speed in battles by 10%. Not the highest percentage, but you're getting a champion that's coming in at 103, 15,000 on the HP, so not bad at all. Rare champion, easy to acquire dupes. You can book her out that way as well. If you're impatient, you probably have enough books lying around to take care of that one. Not hard to run. Spirit Host is versatile. She is versatile. And sometimes when you need more than one rare support champion, you may have an apothecary, for example. You may have, what is my girl's name? I can see her. Support one of the blonde girl that revived. Somebody's going to remind me. But my other champion that's in my mind that I can see her little picture with her blue and white dress on and blonde hair. Oh, I don't know. But you may need that additional champion. And a lot of times, and for quite a while, I never thought of Spirit Host. And I remember seeing it come across in a comment at first, and then someone added it to a video, and I'm like, oh my. I have pulled a couple of these champions, which I think Dark Elves at this point, I can probably give a little conversation on just about all of these champions. So I've been doing one where I'm going, faction to faction, just kind of comparing champions that I felt were buildable, that did really good as 6 stars, and those that didn't. But we will definitely save that one for another day. If you have stuck around this long, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel. My goal is to first reach 100 subscribers. We are so close. I'm going to go in and look at the analytics and see where we are, but we are getting there. And so that'll be an exciting moment. we're gonna get close. And so would love to hit that by the end of this month so that we can push and see what all we can do on this channel. I love the comments, seeing you guys kind of give me tips and pointers and just kind of explain where you are, what you've kind of encountered. It's nice to see the different views we all have of the same exact game. But we do have slots in the clan 22WK. If you are looking for a place to call home, CBC is just around the corner. And I'll be posting updates on that one as well. Getting back to the normal posting, but as I always say, happy gaming.